walking out of insanity to sanity portrayed in the movies. In the movie The Beautiful Mind, we see the protagonist realize that this voice he's listening to do all these crazy compulsive behaviors is not true. And these voices, he sees them as people in his head. And he realizes, wait a minute, I've had these people in my head driving me for 20 years and they haven't aged. So they must not be real. And so then it shows him the voices are still there, still strong, but he turns his back on them and does not do what they're telling him to do, and he goes and does sane behaviors. And, over the rest of the movie, we see him getting better and better, and those voices sometimes still appear, those people, and call longingly to him, and he, quickly looks away and goes forward with his life. Then there's the movie called The Hurricane, which is really incredible, but it's about a boxer who is unjustly jailed, and he's in solitary confinement for 90 days, and there's this scene, there's a couple scenes like this where there's like two of them, they're talking to themselves and to each other, and one is this voice, this person that's been driving him his whole life about learn to be a weapon, learn to fight, that will be your weapon, and that will keep you safe, keep you out of jail, all those kind of things. And then there's this other kind of voice person, and it's kind of blurry, both of them, that's saying, wait a minute, gosh, it doesn't seem like this is working so well, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. And there's not real resolution, in the first scene where we see that type of thing. And we see it again later. And, it's the same thing where you're kind of like, are there two people, or which one's the real him? And anyway, it's just remarkable. And and at one point he rejects that voice telling him to be a weapon. And he says, I'm not going to be driven by hate anymore or anger. I'm not going to be focused on being a weapon in order to take care of myself. I'm going to adopt loving people as a way to take care of myself. And, it's the same thing. This voice is like fighting, right? Don't be stupid, blah, 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 and calling them names. And, you're going to regret this. But he turns his back on that voice and goes forward and has a wonderful, life. It's just really a neat thing. And when I was in a mental health program for OCD, and we would do these exercises where we would, trigger our obsession compulsion cycle, but not act it out. So we'd have the obsession, the thoughts, but the behavior, the compulsion, we wouldn't. And we would feel distressed. But that was the idea. Learn to tolerate that distress So you're free of the compulsive behavior, excuse me. And as you do that more and more over time, the strength of the compulsion lessens, and you do it on like medium strength kind of triggers. So you can do it. If it was full strength, you couldn't withstand it probably, and you would do the compulsive behavior. But you do something you can handle, but that is also, stretches you. So anyway, in my own experience, as I was working through this program, I could start to sense, and discern this obsession, compulsion drive was separate from me. There was a me apart from that. And that I couldn't choose to engage it or not. And of course, the purpose is it makes you feel safe, right? So as I'm getting better and I'm not obsessing and compulsing as much, part of it feels great because you feel so free and light. But part of it's really scary because is it going to be okay if I don't do these behaviors to take care of myself? Okay, I'm sorry. And I can remember, like it's getting more separate, it's getting weaker, and yet it's calling to me, and, I go back and I obsess for a while, and then it's hard, and you stop obsessing, and you do okay for a while, and then you go back and embrace it. And I just remember once where I was sitting at the piano at home, and it was like, there it is, and it's pretty weak. And I'm not going to just, grab it to make sure it's still there if I need it, and I can do it. It was like, no, I'm really letting go, And it was like those scenes in those movies where these people were walking out of these personas and compulsions and behaviors and way of being that they had embraced for so long, and they were turning from that, and in some ways they'd done it so long, it was a real integral part of themselves, but there was still a themself that was separate from that they were able to walk out of. And man, I've gotten good grades, done well at some jobs, decent athlete, played a lot of sports. Married the love of my life, raised 3 children with her. And I think, though, the most remarkable thing I've done, the thing that maybe I'm most proud of, is coming so significantly out of that OCD mental illness. Thank God for His grace, because that was hard. That was really hard. I mean, driving an hour each way, 5 days a week for 6 months, to be in the program 8 hours a day. Just feeling so tormented. Driving and going under the freeway overpasses and looking at those pillars, columns, going, it'd just take one swerve and this would all stop. But I knew it wouldn't stop. I know we're eternal. and we're going to be with God or not. And I'm just so thankful for my family support, my support from work, and those people up at the center that were patient with me, loved me, supported me, responded to all my concerns and arguments, and taught me those skills, walked with me as I did it, and with the people, for the people who went through me in the program. So thankful. I was really at the end of my rope. I was really about to be able to not function. So I hope that's helpful.